Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. Welcome into this early morning broadcast, at least early morning for me here on the East Coast of the United States. DK taking on Invictus Gaming in a rematch from the International to a showdown between two of the highest profile teams on the planet. Starting out with Invictus Gaming, what really needs to be said to introduce a team considered by most to be the inarguable top team on the planet. They're the defending international champions and defending G League champions. They're stacked with superstars at absolutely every position, and they do not lose. Doesn't matter if it's a best of 3 or a single match series. They've only lost one game of competitive Dota, stretching all the way back to November of 2012, and that single game was dropped to LGD International in the G League Finals. And that impressive run includes a 2-0 trouncing they laid on Shane Stack in their first appearance here in Phase 3. G-1, Ferrari, Zoe, Faith, and YYF, superstars at every position, all ready to begin hitting their stride in these early days of spring as we start down the long road to the International 3. And they'll be put to the test today, taking on a team they last saw on the stage in Seattle. Team DK, a squad wearing a name with a lot of history, will not only be looking to write a new chapter of their own story here in 2013, they'll be trying to write a fairy tale ending for their legendary captain, Burning. The star carry announced late last year that he would be retiring from competitive Dota at the conclusion of 2013, but the team's start days ago against Zenith was anything but one worth remembering. They were dismantled by Zenith and left holding a big old donut at the end of an 0-2 loss. Today, though, they have a chance to bounce back strong and get a little payback while they're at it. As mentioned, the last time these two teams met was on the stage at Benaroyo Hall at the International 2, where DK took their exit via a 2-1 loss to IG, who was on their way to the $1 million victory. A little payback never hurt anyone, but the real motivation today is going to be getting themselves back on track to advance out of Group B. We're still very early on in the 2013, but as the moments of Burning's career begin to dwindle, every win is a must-win for a squad looking to find their identity and momentum on their way to redemption. So, I'm Ayesee. Welcome to the broadcast, and also want to welcome my co-caster this morning, a guy maybe you've heard of him. If you keep up with competitive Dota, you might know who he is. His name is Puppy. Puppy, my friend, welcome to the broadcast.
Yo, what's up?
Yeah, it's
doing
right.
Great.
Well,
ready to pump up this game.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Got to get the energy up this early on. And I'll tell you what, you're a guy, and I'm just going to kind of sit back, and we'll talk about the picks and the bans. They are proceeding here. I mean, Bad Rider Magnus, pretty typical stuff. Nyx Assassin going to be our first pickup. But just briefly, if you can, Puppy, you've played these teams. You know these teams probably better than almost any player in the Western scene. Can you give us just a quick rundown of your thoughts on both teams coming into this match?
Okay, how do I start? Both Chinese teams, both very hard to play against. The difference is that this is not the DK that I played last time, and this is the same IG I played last time. But for me right now, it seems like DK is going to play a little bit scared. IG will probably be very aggressive, like they always will be, but that's the way of style, because they know they're in command. So I'm hopefully going to see from them a really same type of style that they always play. Go in, try to kill heroes, try to pick off heroes, and all the time just to enter like their towers earlier than the enemy does. But I will see much more of either a push strat or a passive strat from DK. That's pretty much what I'm going to see, probably.
I completely agree with you, and I don't know if you happen to catch it. The series of DK versus Zenith, and that was DK's first appearance here in Phase 3 of the G1. I'll be honest, and this was the evaluation that I heard out of a lot of players who watched it, as well as my own and a lot of viewers. DK just felt stagnant. They were playing an old style of Dota. They were playing a 4-Protect-1 anti-mage played by Burning, and that's all well and good. But it was just abused by Zenith. They were able to outpick them, able to outdraft them, and then they took map control away early, and DK just seemed to always be playing on the back foot. And we see them pick up the Lone Druid here, and you know, as we see all the time, Lone Druid is such a versatile hero because he works so well in a variety of lineups. You don't usually see him just in that 4-Protect-1 anymore. You usually are going to try to get him a solo safe lane if you can, and then have another carry, perhaps a more mid-game oriented carry that'll help carry you through. But looking at what we see already, Invictus picking up the Lifestealer, they already have the Nyx Assassin, so Invictus Gaming's ability to fight is going to be showing itself very early on, I would say.
Yeah, the true point is I haven't really played that much Nerubian Assassin after the nerf on the stun. I really don't know how much it matters, because how it was before that you could click a hero and if the hero is running away, you would still catch him and stun. If the hero runs away now, I'm not really sure if he will get stunned. Maybe it will turn the game around a little bit somewhere on the face, but not really sure. The thing about Lone Druid is, though, you know why it's first pick in China, and it should be first pick in here in Europe too, but the literal idea of this hero is that he can he's the only hero that can push down a tier 3 tower without losing much. And that's the real power of this hero, because yes, he's a carry, yes, he's versatile, but literally that is the only reason that why he's that important. Because no other hero can do that. There are some heroes, but they split push the tier 3 towers. They don't actually rupture the tower in a 5v5.
Right, and we see that over and over again. I mean, as you point out, not only can he push those tier 3s at a much earlier pace than any other hero can without having to take such a big risk, but he is such a dominant force, especially the way that he's being built nowadays in terms of taking the early tier towers, the tier 1s and the tier 2s, getting his team some map control a lot earlier than they might feel comfortable getting it or trying to risk to get it early on. And probably the most typical way I'm seeing a Lone Druid built, at least throughout the G1 so far, is going for an armlet plus a maelstrom kind of a build. And I really like the way a lot of teams do it. They'll rush out the phase boots, get a set of tier 1s on the bear, and then immediately they'll pick up 2 gloves of haste. And then that, of course, gives them the option, if they really want to go Midas off of one of those gloves of haste. But with the 2 gloves of haste, it gives them a little additional fighting power, a little additional pushing power for a really low cost. And then those are just gradually built into usually an armlet first, plus a maelstrom coming out. And it's not something that is absolutely bizarre that wasn't seen before, but it is seeing a lot more play now, especially in the Asian scene. And DK picking up a Chen, I believe you called it right, and no surprise to know you'd call it right, my friend. Lone Druid plus Chen, got a feeling early tier 1 and tier 2 tower is going to be what they're after.
I think they need to do that against IG. You know, the reason the metagame right now really revolves around either you split push or you don't let enemies split push. And what I see from IG right now is that they don't want them to even start split pushing. I have Nyx Assassin, and Brewmaster. These 3 heroes can pop out in every place. Your Furion split pushing, your Tinker split pushing, they're always going to be in trouble if you don't back them up somehow. So DK is, I think they don't want to even split push. They're not like, okay, we can't do this. We're probably going to have to take towers down early game and see what happens then, because they don't really have a big game plan. They really need to see what happens the first 10 minutes of the game, because they will know if they lose the game in the first 10 minutes or they can still win.
Yeah, we see that a lot of times when you see a Chen pick. And I'll tell you what already kind of stands out. I mean, you look at IG. IG has a very, what I would call, well-rounded lineup. Brewmaster gives them the ability to start defending towers very effectively, very early on. We see time and time again. Brewmaster ult at level 6 is just such a game changer. The cooldown's very long on it. But if you're anticipating the enemy wanting to get in your face and fight underneath your own tower very early, it doesn't get a lot better than a Brewmaster pick. I mean, just the clap initiation, even without blink, follow it up with the split, and you're basically able to bring an absolute halt to almost any sort of a push after that. But when I look at DK, already I'm beginning to wonder how they're going to lane this. 9 times out of 10, you want to try and get your Lone Druid a solo lane. And usually, if you want to get him off to a real good start, you want him to have the solo safe lane. Shin, though, very unspectacular as an offensive tri-lane sort of a jungler. Shadow Demon certainly works in that context, but, I mean, I guess they could do something like a 2-1-2. They could end up with the Druid. Go ahead.
I think it's going to be more of a LGD international type of Chen Shadow Demon. They're going to put their 3 solos. There's going to be, I don't see them doing a Lone Druid hard lane solo. I don't really see, because I see Burning playing it. I see Burning going on easily with it, and they're going to give him farm. I think they're going to try to get this Vladimirs and Maelstrom really fast up so they can start pushing. But foremost, the Brewmaster pick is always a great pick against Lone Druid. Never there has been a situation where it hasn't worked out against Lone Druid. It always has been a counter against them. And yes, they do it pretty well. Like, IG plays Brewmaster, I think, the best out of all the world. I've always seen good Brewmasters, but their Brewmasters, their Ferrari and YOF, really get at them. Very solid.
Absolutely, and just to expand upon that, Brewmaster, again, you say, is just always going to be a good pick against the Lone Druid, and obviously that's because of the air aspect. The air aspect's ability to take the bear off of the map, which is 9 times out of 10 going to have the majority of a Lone Druid's items, take the bear out of the fight, then you can use the rock on the Lone Druid himself, bring him down while he's stunned, and while the bear is in the air, and before you know it, you've got him off of the map, and all of a sudden that push potential, that team fight potential that begins to show itself in the middle and later stages of the game begins to fall off in a big, big way. And I'll tell you something that if DK doesn't ban it, I'll be a little bit surprised here. I mean, and obviously, Brewmaster, you usually want to see him mid. He can run in a variety of situations. If they're really anticipating a heavy, all-in, 10 to 15-minute push style coming out of DK, which I think there's really no reason not to suspect that, why would they not ban the Tinker right here?
Who, the IG? I don't think they have room for Tinker. DK does not really have room for
there
Tinker.
we go. The DK did ban him. Yeah, I was.
You mean IG was taking Tinker?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was actually surprised Tinker had lasted that long in the ban phase and waiting on the last ban. I was really anticipating the Tinker ban, and I was just asking you if there was a reason they might forego banning the Tinker.
Well, yeah, it would have been very well for them because it also is one of those heroes that does counter Lone Droid because you can have... It really depends on the late game because Brewmaster, not only the air aspect counters Lone Droid, you can also have the drunken... What's it called?
Drunken Haze.
The thing that Drunken Haze. The thing that you throw at a bear and he literally is almost useless. The situation why Lone Droid is good because he backs up the supports. He literally backs up the supports. The bear is in front. If you go through the bear, you start dying, and every support knows what their position is. But if you remove the bear, who are you to back them up? You pretty much are not there. You're not existent. So it depends on how this game gets played, because that's what Brewmaster does to Lone Droid.
Waiting to see what DK is going to add on next. So it would seem that they need a mid, probably. I mean, and again, it all comes down to how they want to lane it. I agree with you. I don't see the Druid going to go into an off lane here. I'm 100% behind the idea of Burning being on him. Speaking of high-tier support, Invictus Gaming going to add Leshrac. Leshrac, a solid hero in all phases of the game. Works well with a hero like Nyx Assassin, who can lead off with an Impale, follow it up with a well-aimed Split Earth, to say nothing of how easy it is to hit a Split Earth off of an open wounds that a Lifestealer might be able to open up. And already we can see Invictus Gaming might actually have the potential to offensively tri-lane here if they really want to put some pressure on DK.
I don't think they will. They don't need to. They literally don't need to. If they out-level the Shadow Demon Chen and get free farm for the Nyx, which obviously can happen easily, and get Nyx to level 6, I don't think there's no stopping them right now. Because if you look at the IG lineup, which they always like to do, the reason why they last pick Balinars or three pick Balinar, you know, take Balinars all the time. Wow, Obsidian. Alright, the idea is that they pick up nukes, so they can have, and Nukes Assassin. But so they can have lots of damage and kill heroes really fast. It does not matter if you can save them or not. They just control you down. They have so much control. It does not matter if you take down the tier 1 towers. In the end, you will lose to them.
Right.
In the matter of levels of heroes.
Well, the OD pick obviously gave you pause for a moment, and I'll tell you, this worries me a little bit because I've actually seen a lineup like this run so far in G1. I want to say it goes back to Phase 2. I can't remember who it was. I want to say it might have been MUFC, actually. It might have been MUFC. It wasn't 4 left, but anyway. A lineup like this that was heavy, it was very push-centric, the idea of getting towers early and taking control of the game early. And you see the OD pick, just because of how potent OD can feel with a good start. You know, looking at the lineup so far, it wouldn't surprise me a bit to see him find himself in mid. In fact, I would say that's probably the optimum place for him right now. The power of his ult coming out at level 6, he's going to be a fairly dominant one-on-one laner. And the pure damage that comes off of his orb effect allows him to just have a much higher amount of punching power than he would otherwise. The problem is he's pretty squishy, and until he gets up some kind of a mobility item, Force Staff, one of the more ubiquitous items on an OD, he is a very big liability if he does get picked off. And when you look at Invictus Gaming's lineup, Puppy, they have a lineup that can pick and push with the best of them. With the Weaver now added in, that's more magic damage, more mobility, more lane versatility. Leshrac, again, being able to synergize with the Nyx Assassin and the Lifestealer and the anchor hero that is the Brewmaster. The Bounty Hunter basically puts DK completely all in now. They're going to look to fight and fight early.
There's like the situation that I'm seeing right now. The point about Obsidian or Outworld Destroyer, Devourer, holy hell, he's been changed so much. The idea is that this mid lane from, I don't know, it can't be a Panda mid, I think. It just cannot be anymore. And that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a Weaver solo mid. I'm seeing Ferrari going on this hero, and I'm seeing IG Zhao. I'm pretty sure that they will go hard lane or something like that, or do something different, because I'm not going to see this Panda going solo mid. There's no way an Outworld Destroyer and Shadow Demon Chen will not kill the Panda. They will definitely kill the Panda. There's no way. So DK really depend on the early game. Like I said, 10 minutes of the game overall says who wins the game. Or not wins the game, or how the pace will be going.
Yeah, I mean, Lone Druid, a great hero to get you into that late game phase, but the carry potential is good on both sides, and there are just so many ways for IG to deal with the Lone Druid at all phases. I mean, OD getting off to a great start, certainly going to be very important. Taking a look, it actually is Ferrari on the Panda, so we'll see if he does end up.
Oh, they swapped.
Yep, they do that all the time. I've noticed that's actually become a bit of a trend with a lot of these Asian teams, and I even see it out of a lot of North American European teams, is they'll intentionally pick heroes like that, then swap as soon as they get into the game just to try and catch the enemy team off balance. Looks like they're both going to be moving towards the top lane, at least for the moment. Early on, who do you think has the better level 1 right here? I'd give it to IG.
I'm not really sure because there's so much saving potential of DK. It really depends how they play it out. But overall, of course, it's IG. They have the spells. There's only damage spells going for them. There's no damage spells with DK.
Yep, they are going to go ahead and back out, at least for the moment. So, looks like I'll have a chance to run through our lineups. We'll start on the side of Invictus Gaming. We're going to have our Nyx Assassin handled by Faith Brewmaster, as mentioned, will be played by Ferrari 430. We'll see if he's going to set up shop in mid. Seems, yep, he's just going to go ahead and dip back down, so it will be the mid panda. YYF going to be handling our Weaver this time, so we'll be playing our Lifestealer and the Leshrac, handled by G-1 on the other side of the river. Burning, no surprise to see him on Lone Druid. He's actually setting up shop. Well, nope, never mind. He's crossing over OD's back, played by Super in mid, so Lone Druid will be making his way to top. As mentioned, Super on the OD. QQQ going to be playing on our Chen Shadow Demon, played by MMY, and going to have our Bounty Hunter played by XB. Not sure. I always go by the in-game names if I'm not sure exactly which player's on who.
Just go by the in-game names.
Yep, exactly. You players troll us all the time. I hate when you guys do that, by the way. You and every other team play under wrong names.
I've never done that, man. Never done that.
Never, ever, right?
Never.
This looks like we're going to have an offensive tri-lane coming out of IG. And I thought this isn't the tri-lane I had predicted. Obviously, whenever I mentioned it, they hadn't shown us Weaver yet. This honestly doesn't surprise me too much, given that the way that, given that it's a Chen, really. The thing about a Chen, as great as he is, at least in my experience, as great as he is in a defensive tri-lane in a situation like this, even if it's a Lone Druid instead of a Bounty Hunter that's farming out here, and that's an interesting choice to put him there with the 2 supports of DK in the jungle. It's still a lot of kill potential, especially when you factor in the pure amount of magic damage that can be spammed out of Leshrac and Weaver in particular with Nyx Assassin.
Faith
gonna be disrupted. And let's see if they can follow it up. There's the net. Netted down to half health, but the Impale caught everyone. Actually didn't get QQQ. Might be enough to open some space, and it will be, as he makes his way back to the room.
QQQ made a little small mistake after the disruption. He should have definitely went forward, because he could have definitely blocked him off.
Down here at bottom, Zoe going one-on-one with Burning. We'll keep an eye on this matchup. Zoe should.
He already lost a bear.
Yep. I think it took a few too many tower shots, if I'm not mistaken. Ferrari in mid as well up against Super. This is the matchup you have me intrigued by, because I agree. You would think the Panda's going to struggle immensely here. So far, he's holding his own. He's a couple of last hits behind, but not the biggest gap in the world.
Well, if he gets another intelligence steal, he won't even have mana for a clap. Okay, now he will. It's a funny lineup, you know. It really is.
They got their
bottom lane.
Bottom lane. Let's take a look. So, going to engage on the Burning. And G-1 actually whiffs on the split earth, but Burning should be cleaned up regardless. G-1 rotating down, and Burning going to be pursued. Tried to eat his way through the little road to freedom. Not going to be the case. First blood on the board. Give it to IG.
Smoke from middle.
And there's another Astral Imprisonment on the Brewmaster. We see under cover of smoke, QQQ and MMY beginning to bounce around a little bit here, perhaps looking to make sure they're able to pick off Ferrari. Ferrari, again, holding his own fairly well. He's a little bit behind, but still keeping it fairly close. Up here, the Bounty Hunter under a lot of abuse. And this is a lane that could potentially, yep, I was going to say, as soon as they drop a sentry, I knew Nyx had at least one. As soon as they dropped one, could get very deadly for him if they're not careful. There's the mana burn, so another one of those. Hang on, we're going to have re-engagement under cover of smoke. There's the Centaur to follow it up. Can they get Faith? They will be able to clean him up. So DK finds their way onto the board, make it 1-1.
The situation of Super, I think, made a mistake of giving Panda the rune. There's no real access for the Panda to get the rune over the Obsidian. If he really tries hard, like the Obsidian, he cannot let the Panda get the rune.
Right.
This changed the game by getting the haste rune, and the middle gank was negated. I think FaZe should have understood that by getting this haste rune, the smoke gank was going to have to come somewhere else. It really did, and it went top. But at the same time, they tried to kill the Bounty Hunter.
You can see Chen hanging around. There's another disruption on the Weaver. They've got a sentry down, then the Centaur stun timed up perfectly. Chained it all together. And DK, after giving up first blood on Burning, immediately bounces back. 2 more kills under their belt, or 1 more kill, making it 2 total as we approach the 4-minute mark.
I like what Burning's doing. He's like, I can't do much here.
Yeah, Lifestealer making life pretty hard on him. LS quite happy to get free farm here. And this has got to be considered pretty problematic for the lineup that DK has drafted. I mean, obviously he was going to get his farm, going to get his levels in a one-on-one against Burning. But having Burning completely run out of lane is just going to really neuter their mid-game potential in a big way.
Well, there were a middle lane thing going on right now. Let's take a look.
Yep, here in mid, there's a National Imprisonment. Super's under assault. And Faith there along with G-1, however, with QQQ, the Centaur. OD going to be able to make it back to safety once again.
Okay, I'm going to talk about one thing that changed the game a little bit. It was, let's say if the pull of the Lone Druid, which he can do obviously on the creep spot of the bottom lane, like he can pull the creeps to his own middle, in the middle of the 2 towers, the tier 1 and tier 2. He can pull the creeps there and start denying the creeps that are coming from his side. So Zhao won't get them. This did not happen because Burning did not know the lanes yet. He was still going top, and like this whole going top and going bottom with the bounty hunter, it really made him suffer from this lane because he couldn't stay against Zhao anymore. The first 1 minute really made the game for Burning, but in the end, I understand it was frustrating for him to choose the lane or not. I think he should have still did the pull. He should have still done the pull, I mean, because even if the bounty hunter would have went bottom against the tri-lane of Nyx Assassin, Leshrac and Nyx, if there would have been a situation like that, the pull would still be really good for him, for the bounty hunter. It doesn't really matter. So there was 2 weird situations that happened. I think he still should have done the pull, even though he was going top.
Down here on bottom, we see IG has cleaned up the first tower from the map. Tier 1 bottom did end up dropping. They're now rattling their saber in the shadow of this tier 2. And yeah, they're just going to go. Just bang on the tower, bang on the barrier, force the Centaur back. And this is a situation DK finds themselves in, and it comes down to what you were talking about earlier, and I completely agree. Is so much of this game is dictated by the first 10 minutes, how good of a start these players get off to on the side of DK, given how really all in they are on their composition, peaking at a certain time in the game. And so far, IG has just completely knocked the breath out of them. They feel like they have no momentum whatsoever.
Well, as I can see, level 4 Chen, level 4 SD, it's actually very good for them because they're out-leveling the Leshrac and Nyx Assassin. But for now, the Panda has gotten everything that he needs. A Wilkin is spotted.
Now some movement over to the tier 2 bottom. Weaver continues to go one-on-one with Bounty Hunter, but a lot more emphasis being given to this bottom tier 1 now. Panda gonna pop a DD rune as well. He's got about 1,200 gold in the bank, still sitting on tier 1's Arc Boots if he wants them, or could just bank straight for a blink. As it stands right now, though, they're going to have to do a lot to defend this. I mean, they've got 3 here, as you said. The Wildkin there is certainly going to help turn this away, and Zoe actually ate a lot of damage. Zoe with a set of phase in his inventory. We'll see what build he wants to go with, if it's going to be a cookie cutter kind of an armlet build, or if he's going to do something like drums into S and Y, which has become
drums.
Drums, you think that's going to be the call?
He bought a bracer.
Yep.
And a robe, I think. No, a magic wand. But a bracer he bought.
Ah, on the courier. But so far, the tier 2 still standing, and Ferrari resumes his station back in mid. Burning's taken to the jungle, trying to play a little bit of catch-up here.
I really want to see what this Obsidian Destroyer can create in this game. Outworld Devourer, I mean.
Isn't that too many syllables, man? I bet you about that all the time. How am I supposed to be in the middle of a team fight and get all of that out at once and not stumble?
I think it's OD, man.
That's what it is,
you know,
OD.
It's an overdose hero, you know.
Exactly. Dude doesn't know moderation.
Overdoses on intelligence and spreads it out and kills everybody.
Likes his ginseng, right? But
probably like every hero has some kind of a backstory, like the backstory.
All right, we've got 2 under smoke here in mid. That's G-1 and Faith. Ferrari's right beside him. We can see there's a ward up on the top side from Super to try and keep him safe, but not going to keep him safe from smoked up heroes. Weaver's actually going to make his way over as well, so we could have a big run at the OD here. And at this point, I mean, I think IG just beginning.
The Leshrac needs to stun. The Leshrac needs to stun first. Let's see. Oh wow, the Narub got caught. The Narub got seen.
So Faith going to pull back. G-1's still there. But Ferrari getting a lot of room to operate. Now, Zoe is just continuing to farm his butt off, man. He's going to have his drums in like 300 gold. So you're talking phase drums at 9 minutes in a one-on-one. And Burning having to hook up with the rest of his team just to find some space at top to try and play catch-up. Try to get himself back as a factor in this game.
Okay, I'm actually thinking, what does this mean? You know, you overdose on intelligence and then you kill everybody with it. This could be stuff that Valve is trying to like point us out. Like, just don't get that smart. You'll probably kill the world, you know?
Exactly. Be like that House episode. Drink cough syrup until you feel stupid. But anyway, Super now joined by the Bounty Hunter here in mid. We've got a lot of movement up both teams. Now beginning to put a lot of emphasis here. We see MMY, our Shadow Demon, hooking up with them. There's 3 mid. Faith has made his way to bottom. Going to try and find himself a level 6. He's going to be quite late getting there. We're almost 10 minutes in and not even level 4 yet. So looking for the damage potential to come out of Vendetta. Drum's now done on Zoe, but right now I feel like DK's really got to be the guys under the gun. They have to start doing something. This is not a situation that they can just allow to reach 20 minutes with all the towers still standing.
I think they can, but the situation is very funny in my opinion. The 3 minutes that nothing has happened right now is literally because the Obsidian Destroyer has been taking all of the mana out, or the intelligence out of Brewmaster. He did not even have mana to clap or ultimate or whatever. And this is what is making the pace of the game. They cannot move on their towers because they know their Panda is pretty much... He's without spells. He's just a hero with no spells. That's why he went to the woods.
And there's a Splurf going to catch Super. Now Ferrari going to get the clap off. Doesn't have enough mana for anything else. The Astral Imprisonment on G-1 didn't accomplish a whole lot. Stole a little bit more mana, looking to get his daily dose. But still, relatively quiet on both sides. 3 kills on the board. We're 10.5 minutes in. How about we take a look at the gold graph? 1,500 in favor of IG as we speak. Just a little over 250 experience in favor of DK. Still very close by both metrics.
It is the towers, literally. There's 1 tower.
Zoe actually almost died there. I got the camera there just in time. He used Infest to get himself out of trouble. He was spotted out by Burning and by our Bounty Hunter, but just continuing to farm it up, man. In the meantime, Faith and YYF. YYF has found some decent farm as well. He's got his Ring of Aquila up, a Bracer under his belt as well. And yeah, just going to be drums aplenty. Set of drums just about done now on Bounty Hunter 2.
Well, they try to be versatile with all of their heroes because they know that they have to do something the early game. They cannot let this go to late game because in the late game anything can happen. Obsidian Destroyer, Bounty Hunter, if they lose one fight, they might lose the gold advantage instantly.
Completely agree. And I'll tell you, if there's anything that's worrisome, Chen is not, well, this might change as Zoe playing a little bit chest out. Got himself up under the tier 1, but feeling like he's far enough ahead, phase and drums to help bail him out, not to mention Magic Immunity. I guess he can afford to play a little risky at this stage of the game. But usually by now, 12 minutes in, I mean, all the tier 1s are still standing for IG right now. When you have a Chen on the board, that's not usually something you want to see happen.
Yeah, but it really mattered about the gank middle.
Yep.
It would have changed a lot of the game. But the haste rune of the Panda just changes everything.
I love that RNG. Now Bounty Hunter making his way down the bottom. He's got a track on Weaver, so Shikuchi not going to be enough to keep him completely safe. He is going to re-engage. Now he's going to re-engage right into the rest of DK if he's not careful. He does pull back just before being in range. That leaves Ferrari and Chuan free in middle lane. Burning still, again, trying to play catch-up. He will be going for an armlet as he has added Blades of Attack to his inventory. And we'll see what he wants to follow that up with. How do you feel about the armlet build on a lone druid?
I think it's pretty okay because he gets the armor. Yep. If there would be no armor there, it would be pretty much useless to build it.
Again, the most typical follow-up I've seen to it, and this is coming from a lot of teams, coming from Zenith, coming from LGD International, and so on and so forth, is to get the armlet up quick and then follow it up with a Maelstrom. And I something I've been saying for a while, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it while we still have some quiet time on the board, is Radiance on Lone Druid. I've never been a fan. It seems like it's such a long way to go. 1 or 2 ganks can completely screw up the timing of it. And I think that's one reason I like this newer adaptation, the Armlet Maelstrom, is because it's so easy to build into. Would you agree?
Yes, it totally is true. Radiance is still good on the Lone Druid, but it just takes him a while to get it. And the while... like, there always has been a situation like this. The Phantom Lancer can also buy the Radiance, but the idea is if the Phantom Lancer gets Diffusal first, he will double his farm time, even triple maybe.
Right.
He will farm 3 times faster at the Diffusal. The time that he will like basically have 500 gold before Radiance. Okay, will we see Burning die? No, we won't.
Burning able to get himself to safety. I thought for sure that was a dead lone druid there. Bounty Hunter denies a tower in the meantime. Wasn't even paying attention and was watching the gank. YYF just manages to force a deny. That's another tower down. And all of a sudden, you have to begin to worry if you're DK for a number of reasons, obviously. But this Chen is beginning to run out of room to operate. I mean, obviously, losing the 2 bottom towers is not the end of the world. But the gold lead, even though it was denied, that's going to be a substantial factor. But Chen is not a hero who likes to operate without a lot of map control.
Let's see this fight top. It's probably not going to happen right now. They want to bait them to go far. Nyx Assassin Invictus.
And we see them all beginning to gather under the tier 1. Can't afford to lose another tower.
Obsidian gets 4 staff. Very important right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, I talked about that during the draft, how important that mobility is to his survivability. Up. He's going to be engaged in bomb by Nyx Assassin. Burnt down. Doesn't matter. Up. Hand of God buys enough time, just barely, for him to force staff himself to safety. Chen, not so lucky. Used his ulti to keep his teammate alive, and now they're going to engage on the Shadow Demon. Make it 3-2 as IG adds 2 more kills to the board. And Ferrari not even forced to use split. Great pick off there by the Nyx Assassin. Just forcing OD out of the fight, forcing DK off of their tower. This should be a free tier 1, and at this point, they might even consider pushing to tier 2.
They probably will. If they would have had Nern right now, they would definitely.
And so far, let's see. They are going to go, looks like they're going to spread out a little bit. Track on YYF, but yeah, they are going to back out. But yeah, this is, I mean, you said it, man. I mean, during the draft, the first 10 minutes to 15 minutes are going to dictate so much. DK is already behind 3,000 gold. The experience is 1,000, which is nothing even at this early stage. But just the fact that Chen, I have not felt QQQ's influence on the map at all. He's going to have a mech soon, so maybe they'll be a little bit more brave and ready to team fight once that's up. But for now, I mean, Chen has just basically been a range creep who used 1 good heal.
Yeah, pretty much. The 2 kills that happened top lane, they could have not happened.
Yeah.
Because I think they were a bit careless standing there thinking like, oh, the Shadow Demon Chen won't even come. But that's what you must do against these heroes. If you play pressure, okay, let's see this fight again.
And we're going to have the split finally pop. They're going to dive all the way back to the tier 2. Super going to be the target. Good disruption from MMY. Buy some time. Isn't enough. Super going to get his ult off and cleaned up immediately. Did a decent amount of damage. Tracks up on YYF. Now Faith being pursued. Bounty Hunter looking for the kill. He might be able to turn this around. There's the ulti spit by Weaver. Going to keep him alive. Zoe still at half health. Might want to continue fighting. Ferrari down to half. Will be spotted out by the Bounty Hunter. Now they're going to engage. Down goes the Sentry. They want vision. They want to bring the bounty down. They do. Now the open wounds on Burning. Burning just outside of tower range, but the root holds Zoe down. That was actually the net. Check that. Coming out from the Chen. And IG might not be able to get away with Zoe alive. Good impale. Caught everyone. And Zoe gonna magic immune himself. Gonna rage his way back to safety. Chuan's back up, and now they got to be careful. Now they're going to re-engage. There's the clap catches, nothing but the bear. Can they get the bear? They do. They have a resummon on Burning. There's the force staff. Now the impale on Super again. Super going to be picked off. Immediately back in the fight. Immediately back down. Chen's up ready to fight, but Bounty Hunter has to run. Looking for safety under the tier 2. Chen sends him home via the Chen Express. IG with another win and looking to take another tower. DK's running out of towers, puppy.
They are. I think it won't really matter. These towers are going to fall down. That OD's ultimate dealt so much damage. I thought that they could actually pull this off. It really looked like that. But there was some problems with hitting one hero at the same, like many heroes at the same time. If they would have focused one hero down before all the others, I think they could have done this much better. But you never know that OD will deal so much damage.
Yeah.
It's one of those random spells. You never know.
I agree. Saw the hammer drop, and I thought for sure that was going to be a turning point. If nothing else, I thought DK would be able to keep that tier 1 up after that. I thought they'd get 1 or 2 return kills and be able to at least stabilize, but only 2 outer tier towers remaining. That gold lead beginning to look very impressive as well. Just about 7,500 gold in the favor of Invictus Gaming, over 3,000 experience. Chen still short of a mech. And I'll tell you what I thought was going to make the difference as well. I mean, and I, by the way, just want to echo what you said. I agree. It seemed like the communication was a little iffy there. The Bounty Hunter engaging on 2 different targets at once, bouncing back and forth. Didn't seem to be a lot of focus firing going on. And when Shin landed the net on the Lifestealer, I thought that was going to be a turning point, but they were just unable to clean him up.
Well, it really is one of those random spells. Let's see what's happening top. Still has Infest.
Got Infest.
G-1 is just coming.
And he's gonna be Demonic Purge. He has Magic Immunity up. Looks like he should be. He's gonna Infest right into the Centaur though. Finds himself some more health. Pops his Drum Charge, looking for safety. He's got help. G-1 gonna be enough to ward them away with a Split Earth, more of a bark not bite. But now with everyone under the tower, they're gonna, they're just gonna go for it. Super gonna be kept alive by Hand of God. There's the Force Staff to keep him going. Splitter's gonna catch Burning and Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon's down. G-1 chasing Burning out, and Brewmaster using the split. Burning's gonna drop again. The poor guy has not been able to find any luck, any farm whatsoever. There's the air aspect, making Bounty. Oh wow, actually missed time there from G-1. There's the ulti. Did a little bit of damage, not nearly enough. Now the Astral Imprisonment buys him some time. Not nearly enough as he comes out. Force Staff in the wrong direction. Super facing the wrong way, brother. Did not want to go that way. Sent back to the well the hard way, making 9-4. And IG ready to clean up yet another tier 2. We're 20 minutes into this game, and DK has only one outer tier tower remaining, puppy.
Yeah, let's see this bounty hunter. Boom. You really tried, man. You really tried.
Bounty. YOLO, son. And the latest in a long list of casualties that are mounting for DK now. 10,000 gold their advantage, 7,500 experience, and sad to say, I don't think DK's early game strategy has panned out.
They needed some key factors to work in this game. Those key factors did not work. I mean, they had a nice opening on 2 kills at top lane, but they really needed a stable bottom lane. Trust me, they really needed that stable bottom lane. If that did not happen, they already had a problem with Nates. They should not have had such a big problem with them.
And a little bit of trading the pain here. Looks like DK will be able to keep their last remaining outer tier tower up at least a little bit longer. The Courier are going to join the fight, hang out with us for a minute. Now we'll back out. But the kill score really not indicative of just how far behind DK happens to be. Even the gold score really not indicative of how far behind they happen to be. They have Lone Druid, that's grand, but when you have a bounty hunter at this stage, and that bounty's been 6 for a while, I mean, he's actually got level 2 track now. This is when he should be shining. He should be allowing his team to trade even or even lose fights, but still break even in gold. Chen should be really a hero that they can use as a catalyst to push towers. And now Zoe's going to be rooted down at top, but he just doesn't care. I mean, they just don't have the damage. There's Demonic Purge. And with Super there, they might have enough, and they get another good root. So Zoe does have Infest if he wants to use it. He's going to go ahead and jump in, jump out. And now going to be Astral Imprisoned. Yeah, basically. And now he's going to double back, heading to the south, and he's going to try to juke them using the vision. He's moving quick. He's got a Yasha. The Yasha plus his face boot. So, are you kidding me? Zoe able to keep himself alive. 5-on-1. GG drums, brother.
Yeah, he was cocky, but for a right reason.
Yep.
Even if he wastes his time, it's good for the team.
Right.
It doesn't really matter. And if he gets away, oh man, it's like a different situation.
Well, we're 22 minutes in, puppy. Why don't you give me your mid-game analysis, where we stand as we just roll past the early stages of the game. And obviously, I don't think you have to go too in-depth about who's behind and who's ahead, but what's your #1 factor of what really made this game fall apart for DK to this point?
I think they should have controlled Rune much better at the early game stage so they could gank the Panda, and they should have had the Lone Druid pulling bottom, so the Lone Druid would basically get a level 5 at the same time as Nakes would get level 5.
Right.
If that would have happened, this game would have been a little bit different.
Oh,
I hope it would. I don't know if it would be. Anything can happen.
Exactly. And
OD can land like a ultimate and kill everybody.
Like he almost did. Yeah, like he almost did.
He almost did. Like if he probably would have one Astral Imprisonment from somebody, I think those heroes would have just died, and IG would be like, well, I don't know, guys.
GG.
I guess it's time to farm BKBs, and we would have had a 15-minute farm.
DK going with the patented Desperation Smoke. They've just lost their last outer tier tower, down to nothing but the tier 3s at 23 minutes in. They're going to move towards the Radiant jungle and hope to find themselves a target right now. IG fairly well spread out. Faith and G-1 occupying the piece of real estate they have their eye on. In the meantime, Lifestealer happy to continue. He did go ahead and go S and Y off of the drums, so you know, that's becoming more and more common. And if you want a Lifestealer that just moves freaking quick, man, there's a very effective way to build him. And DK not going to... they might actually. Faith and G-1. Oh, they drop down the sentry. And there's the Bounty Hunter spotted out. There's the Impale. Wow, actually shot it north. So Bounty Hunter, that's actually probably for the best he missed that.
Well, yeah, Bounty Hunter should have baited. I think he should not have ran away like that. There was no way that he would die. There's Astral Imprisonment, there's Disruption, and this was their only choice. Like, if they would have, like, Nyx Assassin and Leshrac pick off and get some gold back, I probably think they would get a lot of gold from this. Like, 3,000, 2 kills maybe.
Yep, especially if 1 or 2 are track kills.
But like I said, either they pushed or played passive, and this has not been a push, and it's a passive game.
Right now, just trying to buy some time. Hopefully the Lone Druid can become a factor at some point in the very near future, but as it stands, all IG all the time. They might have a chance to pick off Zoe again. Zoe's just playing ballsy as hell. He got away once. Let's see if he'll get away twice. You just look how quick he's moving, man. He's moving at 432 move speed and was really never in any real danger there.
492, yeah.
Yep, 4.
Phase boots.
Yep. Hell, I mean, even with phase boots not activated, he's moving.
He's almost hasted. He's almost hasted when he clicks phase boots. But now he clicked phase boots, so he won't have... Oh, Chen's giving him a free creep.
And here we go. He's going to be netted down. Is that enough? We got TP reactions coming. They're going to get him. They got to get him soon. There's the net. They're going to have him down below half health. But here comes Faith, and Faith's just going to go for it. Caught 2. Follow-up Split Earth. The Met gets them back in fighting shape. Still have Hand of God if they want to use it. There's Ferrari, though. Gets off the clap. There's Hand of God. But with 1 dropping already, Chin's tossed in the air. And no, OD drops the hammer. Does some damage, but not nearly enough. 3 for 1, the current trade. Make it 3 for 2, actually. And now Shadow Demon. Not going to deny yourself there, brother. That's a full wipe. And at this point, the GG's, well, I mean, Leshrac's going to buy back, but the GG is probably forthcoming sometime soon.
I can already see G-1 and when he buys back like this. It's like 10 seconds dead already, and he just buys back, and you can see his screaming face.
Yep, exactly.
You can see it.
Yep, there it is.
See it. Burning's like, okay, I just saw this face. I can't go on with this. No, not anymore.
Exactly.
No.
That's the tap out, the G-1 GG face, no doubt about it. Well, guys, game 1 in the books in very short fashion. 15-6, the final kill score. Took him just short of 26 minutes to elicit the GG out of DK. And, I mean, DK, this has got to become a little bit worrisome. And again, I don't know if you caught the Zenith series. This had a lot of feeling that series had. Obviously, it was a little closer against Zenith. Not a lot, to be honest, but it was still a little closer. And but for the most part, DK just seems a little discombobulated. They seem to, their communication seemed a little lacking this game. Would you agree?
Well, I think there's right and wrong in this situation because, I mean, of course they're worse than IG, we all know that, and their communication might be even good. I just think that they don't feel the power in playing the same way as IG do, as an IG picking just regular type of heroes to go and fight. While DK tried to do a strategy and try to make this strategy work, they know it's risky. They definitely do. And they know they need the key moments to work out. They just don't know what to do if the moments don't work for them. They literally don't know what to do because there is no winning after the situations not work. And that's why they're still staying in this game, trying to make something out of something that did not work out already in the first place.
26 minutes, 22 seconds, the official game time. Again, 15-6, the final kill score, all IG. Very lopsided, game 1 win. DK, though, searching for redemption, looking to get their first win in 2013. Hard to believe they're into their 2nd series now and have yet to get a single game win under their belt throughout 2013. Gonna have to do so if they want to keep their chances alive of advancing through the G-1 Champions League. I'm Ayesee, joined by Navi's own Puppy for the broadcast. We'll both be back for game 2 coming up.